end of its second season, I think I said this in the Skype thing, the show was canceled, and we were shocked. We thought it should have been canceled in its first season. It was amazing what happened. I started getting letters every day, like 1,000 letters from Canadians saying, do what you got to do to keep the show on the air. Some 8-year-old boy wrote me and said, Crossing Lodge is the happiest place on earth. So I was like, okay, I got to do something with it. And I just completely changed them, because up until that point, I'd always thought like the network executives were the boss, or the advertisers. They were the ones I had to please. And then I realized it was the audience. The audience was in charge. And then, so I had all those letters in a hockey bag. And I went to other broadcasters in Canada, and we got on, from being on one station, we ended up on a network in Canada out of that. And then I came down to the States with the same thing. And then away we went. And PBS, one of the reasons that I came here was you don't need a huge audience. If you get people who like what you're doing, you can keep the show on the air. And I always thought of myself as being incredibly odd, by the way. I don't think I have a mainstream sense of humor, but it's the one I have.
We're so thankful.
And I've had things where people think I'm funny. I get hired to punch up a script on somebody else's show, and I just said, well, I don't find any of it funny. It doesn't need to be punched up. It needs to be punched out. And then I lose that job. So to find something that I enjoyed doing, like I would rather perform to 600 people who share my sense of humor than 5,000 people who are going, what the heck is he talking about? So that's been a good ride. Now somebody this afternoon at the store, I probably can remember everybody was at the store anyway. They were asking me about the rest of the cast and how we cast the show. It's funny, the guy who plays Bill on the show, his name's Rick Green. He and I have been writing together for years. In Canada, we don't have a lot of actors. We don't have a lot of people, period. And of them, very few are actors. So it's not like you can create a role and have 100 guys show up for it. So what we did is we picked the actors first. We knew most of them, and they were friends of ours who were good actors. So what we would do is like say the guy who plays Ranger Gord, for example. We brought him in. He's a friend of ours, Peter Callahan. We brought him in and we interviewed him, and he thought he was coming for an audition. But all we did was we asked him, what he does for hobbies, what he does when he's on vacation, what he does on the weekend, all that kind of stuff. And then we said, okay, thanks. And he said, well, what about the audition? We said, well, you already got the job. We're just trying to figure out what character you play. Well, what came out of us talking to him was that he's a guy that if he says he's going to be somewhere at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, he's going to be there. Like if his leg falls off, he'll bring his leg in a backpack. So we thought, well, there's Ranger Gordon. He just takes his sense of duty and just exaggerate it beyond belief. Like he hasn't been paid in 13 years, and he takes that as a compliment. They trust him so much. And he'll probably still come into work the next day. So we did that with almost every character. We decided that we took some core element of that actor and then exaggerated it, because we felt no matter how exaggerated they got, it was still based somewhere on some nub of truth. So when like Peter Callahan does the crazy duty stuff, that's really the way he is. One time I said that. And there's a couple of exceptions. The guy who plays Hap Shaughnessy, he's just a terrific actor. Smothered a Russia and a Fabergé. He's such a good actor that he could say those crazy lines and make you believe it. And then Graham Greene was, I think the year he was nominated for Dances with Wolves, I read him. He was performing on Northern Exposure, was a television show out of Washington. And when he was in the airport, my show was on, and the crew of the airplane was watching the show and laughing. And so he's looking at it, and then he realized there was a Canadian show, and he's Canadian. So I was at an awards thing, and he came to me and said, what do I have to do to be on your show? And I said, well, I'm pretty sure you just did it. He came out, and we just had a lot of fun. So, it's been a great ride. We did 15 seasons. It's the second longest running live action comedy show of all time. We got Saturday Night Live, which is there like 36 years. Number 2 is Red Green, 15 years. I mean, The Simpsons are going longer, but that's animated. They don't get old, they just stay. by the time we finished the season, Harold was the age that I was when I started it. So what happened was, this is kind of neat. We were on CBC in Canada. It's kind of a commercial network. And the guy there was a programmer, a really good guy. And when it got to be our start of our 14th season, we'd always go in to see if we got renewed. And he said, yeah, we'd like to go again. I said, look, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, obviously, but I would like to do 2 more seasons. At the end of that, it would be 15 years. It'd be 300 episodes. And like a month later, I turned 60. That feels like an exit ramp to me. And so what he did was, he said, well, let's write up a contract. He gave me a 2-year contract, which in this kind of business is unheard of. And what that allowed me to do was to tell everybody in the cast and in the crew, they have to give them 2 years notice, so they come up. And so then when it was announced that we were going to, do 2 more seasons, and the audience was really mad. We had a live audience there. And they would come in, and they were only mad until I would go out and explain to them that this is our choice. We don't want to do it anymore because we can't make it any better. I mean, even now we're starting to repeat ideas. And you can't repeat ideas on this show because the bloody fans have seen every show. So what happens is you start looking at the ideas that you rejected in year 4 starting to look good to you. So I stopped doing the show at the end of 2005, and then I just basically retired. And then a bunch of things happened. Things came together. The show didn't die. People like you kept it alive. And we started the internet thing, and we're getting a lot of young people who don't know that these are old shows. Because we never talked about what was going on. Because we didn't know what was going on. So we're getting new fans and old fans. And then I got a friend of us wanted me to write some books. And that was fun. And then this is a whole new thing for me. I wouldn't do another television episode, but it's odd for a man my age to be doing something new that's not a medical procedure. So I jumped at it. So here we are. I don't know how much longer I'll do this. Maybe this is my only time. I don't know. Okay. Does anybody have any questions at all? Yes.
No possibility of a reunion show, like what you guys are doing 5 years later?
No, we did the red-green story thing that we did a couple of years ago. It's probably as close as we get to that.
It's great.
It's great memories, and the guys, we're all friends, and there was never, whatever you saw on camera, that's the way it was. And Pat McKenna and I, we purposely from day one, I'll tell you how I got Pat McKenna. When I was casting the show, I was looking for somebody to be my second banana, and Second City had like 7 people in the cast. So I knew Pat, but I wasn't interested in Pat. I knew him, but he's not the guy. So I went down to Second City, and I saw all these people. I really didn't see anybody. And then Pat McKenna came out, and he was this guy in grade 7 or something doing his science project, and he got all this, well, that's the guy. And then I had the whole cast put together. Now we're ready to start shooting. And the only thing was, I wanted a really old guy. I wanted one really old guy in the show. And this was early on, and I thought, well, I just didn't get him, because usually there's an old guy, if he's not famous, there's usually a reason for that. Very rarely bad luck, So the old guys that were good, I couldn't afford, and the old guys that were bad, I didn't want. So I was kind of a little disappointed. And then I was standing in the makeup room, and I got a glimpse of the mirror. I thought, no, we're good. So, yeah, and I was going to say, with Pat McKenna and I, from day one, we never got together socially. We wouldn't go out for dinner together. Our wives were friends. Because whatever our relationship was, we wanted to save it for the camera. So we were pretty good friends for that whole run.
It's going to be funny because Rebecca doesn't have a baby.
Yeah, I know.
So a lot's continuing.
I know.
For the next generation.
I know. But it's so much theater in the mind. It lives on in people's minds. We always had characters that we never saw. When I was a kid, the shows were all on the radio. That's how old I am. So you didn't see anything. And so there were some sitcoms that were on there that, like the Jack Benny show, for example. I had pictures in my mind of what they were doing. And then they put the show on television. Well, their pictures weren't nearly as good as mine. So I always wanted to have an element of radio in our show, and that's why we had the fictitious characters. Yes.
What was your most favorite Candyman performance?
Like there were a lot of them that I really liked. I got a lot of handyman stories.